And the African Union will extend and expand its military operations against Al-Qaeda. And a very warm welcome to the news. With it, I'm Shifarao Lakau. Do stay with us. President Sahle-Work Zewde has called for a unified effort to uphold national dignity and patriotism in the community. This remark came on Monday when the president addressed the gathering at the headquarters of the House of People's Representative that celebrated the 14th National Flag Day. Participants of the event also expressed the need to strengthen national unity and respect the national flag. Alula Teklamare reports.
Ethiopia's National Flag Day is celebrated on the first week of October every year. It now turns 14 years since the Flag Day has been officially marked as a national celebration. The 14th National Flag Day has been observed in different parts of the country as well as in Ethiopian embassies abroad. Speaking on the occasion held at the headquarters of the House of People's Representatives of Ethiopia, President Sahle-Work Zewde said Ethiopia's flag symbolizes the heroism of Ethiopian ancestors who had sacrificed their lives to safeguard the country's sovereignty.
ሰንደቅ ዓላማችን በትውልዶች መስዋዕትነት ያስጠበቅነው የነጻነታችን ምልክት ነው።
Our flag is the symbol of our freedom ensured by the life sacrifices of Ethiopians in different times. Our flag is the symbol of our common identity, common emblem and an icon of our strong unity like other countries, which ensuring their freedom. This is an opportunity to value our heroes who had sacrificed their lives and preserved the sovereignty of Ethiopia. We should also use this event to make another history that can help prosper the nation in a new chapter and hope. At the global level or in sport competitions, we Ethiopians are not only identified by our names but also by the green, yellow and red colors of our flag. A flag holds people's equality and hope. So this generation had the mandate to preserve and maintain all the values of the national flag.
የህዝቦች እኩልነት የህዝቦች ተስፋንም የያዘ ነው ሰንደቅ ዓላማ።
Meanwhile, legal expert Zelekete Mesken explained the objective of having similar event. He said the flag symbolizes Ethiopia's unity and their quest for national pride.
The reason why we're celebrating the Ethiopian Flag Day is that because it shows clearly the price that our fathers has actually paid for in order to maintain the unity and also the prosperity of this country. So it clearly shows that our fathers have paid the ultimate price in order to actually maintain the unity of this country. Aside from that one, it also shows that it conveys a message to the current generation of Ethiopia to also continue the process that our fathers have started.
The Lega further urged the young in particular to be inspired by their forefathers' sense of patriotism.
Well, for the youth, the message that I want to convey is that our fathers, as I mentioned earlier, they paid a lot of prices. So the flag that we are celebrating today, it didn't actually come suddenly. It came actually through a lot of processes, through ups and downs. So they paid a lot of prices. So the current youth also should understand the symbol, the meaning and the value of this flag, and then should also work in order to actually continue, in order to actually persist and then continue for the unity of Ethiopia.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, different schools, and Ethiopian embassies abroad marked their day with various activities.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has called on his newly appointed government executives to look for opportunities within their respective institutions. The Premier also urges the new government officials to fight corruption and serve the public with utmost responsibilities. Demis Makurev has more.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed officially formed his new government and appointed his cabinet members and other senior government officials recently. In a training being delivered to the new senior officials, Prime Minister Abiy highlighted his government way so forward and urgent priorities. The Premier urges his executives to effectively serve the public with a greater commitment and fighting corruption.
ስልጣን አትለማመዱ ይሄዳል የጊዜ ጉዳይ ነው You must not strongly associate yourself neither with authority nor with corruption. They are results of repetitive experience and grow to be a habit. We witnessed several talented individuals stumbled across the way due to corrupting habits. Upon your appointment, MPs also alerted us that some corrupt cabinets are still within us. Thus, we have to fight corruption before it grows to be an addiction like cigarette within ourselves.
አትርሱት። ከኔና ከናንተ ውጭ አይደለም ሾልኮ ያለፈው ሰው። ሌብነት ልምምድ ከሆነ እንደ ሲጋራ ነው።
Prime Minister Abiy also called on his new government officials to turn the searchlight inward and look for potential opportunities within their respective institutions upon starting their career in the near future.
የሌለ ነገር እንድታመጡ አይጠበቅም። ያለውን ነገር በጥልቀት አይታችሁ
You are not expected to achieve something non-existent, but you are only expected to deeply assess opportunities within your institution and turn it into greater opportunity. Far East countries say the time to prosper was either 30 years before or right today. We already missed the chance before 30 years, but the chance with today is still with us. So we have to properly use it and thereby need to ensure our prosperity.
The training being delivered to new government officials will extend for 5 days at the Africa Leadership Excellence Academy and is believed to synergize the newly appointed government executives and enhance their sense of responsibility ahead of their career.
Now, as long as Africa stands divided, it will always remain weak with the risk of disintegration. We're inviting eager colonizers back who have barely left the continent. This remark was made by Professor Lumumba while lecturing Pan-Africanism to the newly appointed government executives at the African Leadership Excellence Academy. He has also used the occasion to urge Ethiopians to capitalize on their unique history of independence. The story is presented as follows.
Lumumba is a professor of public law, a holder of an LLD, Doctor of Laws.
Professor Lumumba began his lecture congratulating the leaders of the new government of Ethiopia.
Ministers in the new administration, congratulations.
He then dwelt in length on the importance of African indispensable unity, without which weakness and disintegration will only be the fate of the continent.
If we only see Pan-Africanism as sentimentalism, as a romantic idea about which we debate, and we remain as we are, then this is the Africa that I see. This is the Africa that I see in 25 years' time. Many Africans, either legally or otherwise, will break into different autonomous countries. Many of them. We'll have more than 100 countries in Africa, each claiming self-determination, and is already beginning to happen. Because we will be looking at narrow ethnic agenda as the only way of defining our affairs. Ethiopia will break down, Kenya will break down, Nigeria will break down, South Africa will break down, and look at South Africa. Only last week, the whites in Western Cape in South Africa have delivered a petition to the government in Pretoria saying they want to create their own country.
One aspect of this unity lies in the regional blocs of Africa that need to go pragmatic. He strongly argues that continental disunity will foster foreign meddling, citing the case of the Nile waters as a case in point.
If we were working as a single unit, nobody can quarrel with the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Because if we acknowledge, as we do, that if Africa is to enjoy the dividends of the first industrial revolution, one of the things that we need is power. Then if the dam is going to generate anything in the neighborhood of 10,000 megawatts. This region should be celebrated because the entire East African region will need that power. But now, because we do not work as a single unit, there is an attempt by the outside world to externalize what are differences that can be resolved domestically. The United States of America thinks it has something to say. The United Nations thinks it has something to say. The weak African Union thinks that it has nothing to say.
He has also used the occasion to urge Ethiopians to capitalize on their exceptional history of independence.
And as Ethiopia, lastly, always remember this. You have a unique history of independence. You are one of the few African economies where you can actually say that possibly 75% of your economy is dominated by Ethiopians. Am I wrong in that regard? 75%. You come to Kenya. 56% of the Kenyan economy is dominated by Asians who are no more than 100,000. 65% of Ugandan economy is dominated by Asians. There are no more than 10,000 of them. 47% of Tanzanian economy dominated by Asian. 50% of Malawi economy by Asian. 57% of the economy of Zambia is dominated by Asians. You go to West Africa, it's dominated by Lebanese. You are unique that you are controlling 75% of your economy. You have a market, a population of 120 million. How do you use it? You can be a gentle giant in the region. A gentle giant.
Prolific writer Professor Lumumba is a staunch Pan-Africanist and has delivered several powerful speeches about African solutions to African problems.
Gondar, a city of palaces and castles.
Now in the palace of Emperor Fasilides. Let's go inside and see what it's like. It has a unique Nubian structure and it was registered on the UNESCO Heritage Sites in 1979. Gondar, Gondar. This statue was made to commemorate the beloved Emperor Theodorus on January 18th of 2012.
We're here to see some castles. World Heritage Site.
Welcome back. You're still watching this News Hour. Now, CNN has waged war against Africa's most successful airline as the U.S. fails to intervene in Ethiopian affairs through the UNSC. And analysts say the U.S. Democrats are now trying to disrupt Ethiopian. They know Ethiopians had abstract thoughts and knowledge. with thousands of years literature, architecture, religion, and music note. Sintayo Tamrat has more.
Ethiopians see the Ethiopian Airlines, the country's modern-day Lalibela and Aksum. They say Ethiopian is a modern-day Adwa, which proves they have an indomitable spirit. But today, this new spirit of Africa is facing a high level of malice from CNN. Holding discussion with ETV languages, aviation journalist Kalayesus Bekele explains reasons behind CNN's recent report against Ethiopian Airlines.
They wage a campaign against the airline because everyone knows that the national carrier plays a pivotal role in the economic, in the socio-economic development of the country. Number one, the airline employs 17,000 employees, but according to a recent IATA report, the airline has created 1.1 million direct and indirect jobs in the country, and the airline contributes about 5.7% to the country's GDP, and fetches more than $4 billion annual revenue. That's a foreign currency. So whoever wants to weaken Ethiopia or attack Ethiopia, the airline would always would be a target.
The US government knows Ethiopia was made a landlocked country with the order of State Department's Herman Cohen in 1991, and Ethiopia has no access to the sea. And attacking the Ethiopian Airlines is like taking the life-supporting oxygen to create a new level of humanitarian crisis once again to justify a humanitarian intervention. Kalayesus says it is not a crime to transport guns on airlines because if necessary, the military can charter it.
The airline has repeatedly refuted all allegations saying that it has not transported military hardwares or troops to any part of the country, and it has not been asked by anyone to transport. But an airline, a commercial airline, in an event of a national emergency, the military can charter a commercial airline, a commercial aircraft, jetliner, to transport troops and military hardware.
In case of emergency?
In the event of a national emergency, when there is a national emergency, the military can charter a passenger aircraft or a cargo aircraft, a commercial airline, to ferry military hardware or to transport troops. By the way, as we speak, this is not the first time when a commercial airline actually, for instance, as we speak now, Ethiopian Airlines is transporting UN peacekeeping mission to Mali, West Africa.
The recent CNN report on the Ethiopian airline is an ideal proof to the US policy on Ethiopia. The report is a carefully invented story to destroy the reputation and goodwill of the company.
It seems that there is a well-coordinated campaign against Ethiopian Airlines by various media outlets. Ethiopian Airlines is a founding member of IATA, so it fully complies with IATA regulations, cargo regulations, for instance. And also Ethiopia as a country is a founding member of ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization. So again, Ethiopia complies with the ICAO regulations.
All the US attempt to use UN Security Council to justify intervention failed due to lack of evidence. Now the gloves are taken off and the Democrats' government will use everything possible to escalate the humanitarian crisis till the world has no option but to accept the Democrats' demand for humanitarian intervention.
Now, Ethiopian Airlines has signed a code-share and interline agreement with Access Rail to widen connectivity options for its passengers destined to Western Europe, the United Kingdom, Scandinavia, Japan, and Canada. The agreement avails Access Rail's wide rail destinations to passengers of Ethiopian Airlines through seamless connectivity with all journey segments contained on a single Ethiopian Airlines ticket. Ethiopian Airlines has further developed its air rail strategy by partnering with the world's leading provider of air rail intermodal solutions, Access Rail 9B. This new partnership provides Ethiopian Airlines with the ability to expand its network of destinations and to feed ET flights in both interline and code share format. The Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority stated that China continued to be the top importers of Ethiopian coffee in August. The Chinese market is becoming a major destination for the nation's coffee exports, the authority said. Ethiopia's coffee and spices earnings reached $125 million from export of over 33,000 tons of both commodities in August, although it planned to collect $99 million. Trade between China and Africa increased by 40.5% year-on-year in the first 7 months of this year and was valued at a record high of over $139 billion, according to figures from China's Ministry of Commerce. Export of sesame seed to China currently constitutes close to 70% of the Ethiopia's total export of the product to the global market. Now, moving to continental news, the African Union says it will extend and expand its military operations against Al-Qaeda-linked Islamists in Somalia to include other member states, as its current mandate nears an end on December 31st. Kasaun Chani has more on that from AFP.
The Al-Shabaab were always engaging us. 24 hours they were engaging us.
Big up, Soto. Any Al-Shabaab who tries to attack us must die. There is no mediation on that.
The Horn of Africa nation has faced renewed instability in recent months with long-running election delays and an ongoing rebellion. Its president and prime minister sapping attention from an insurgency waged by Al-Shabaab jihadists. Despite the militant ouster from Mogadishu a decade ago, Somali's government controls only a small portion of the country, with the crucial help of some 20,000 soldiers from the African Union mission in Somalia. Somalia, AMISOM. AMISOM late Sunday said the African Union's Peace and Security Council had agreed to shift to a joint mission with the United Nations that would enable other willing and interested African Union member states to join operations against the Islamists. The plan will need to be endorsed by the United Nations Security Council and the government in Mogadishu. The African Union expressed grave concern at the worsening security situation in Somalia, where there had been a worrying resurgence of Al-Shabaab activities. The militants regularly stage deadly attacks against civilian and military targets in the capital and elsewhere. The United Nations Security Council in March extended the MISOM's mandate until December following fractious talks between Western countries and African members of the Council over the funding for the peacekeepers. Sunday's African Union statement asked the United Nations Security Council to consider technical role over the MISOM mandate while discussions continue on the details and modalities for transition towards the post-2021 arrangement. The statement also urged President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, widely known as Farmajo, and Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Rabo to resolve their differences and refocus on concluding the overdue elections without further delay. The ongoing political standard between the Office of the President and the Office of the Prime Minister is contributing to the worsening security situation. The political authorities find their attention distracted from governance matters, a statement said.
Finally, let me remind you of the top stories. President Sahle Work Zewde calls for a unified effort to uphold national dignity.